Oh, I didn't even push record this time and it's doing it. Oh, well. Come on, give me the camera. We're back. Yay! We finished our applesauce. Actually, let's get onto so you can see. We finished applesauce, homemade applesauce. It's still hot. It's still steamy. So we just got to let it cool down. I almost just dumped it all over my Bible. But look at it. Homemade applesauce. We just boiled the apples, added some honey for sweetener, and put it in my puree thingamabobber, and we have homemade applesauce. Oh. We have homemade applesauce. Isn't that so beautiful? And it's so delicious. These apples have lasted for like a long time. So, yay! All right, and I lied about Mount Sinai. So Mount Sinai, while scholars still debate the exact location of Mount Sinai, also called Mount Horeb and the Mountain of God, the traditional site of Jabal Musa in the southern Sinai Peninsula, as its base is a broad plain where the Israelites could have gathered while Moses ascended the mountain. So while he climbed up the mountain, these people gathered at the bottom, right? Something he did not once, but 7 times he climbed up this mountain, right? Sinai was an appropriate place for Moses to receive the 10 Commandments and law, for it is here that he had the first encounter with God in Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. That was awesome, right? The dramatic appearing of God on the mountain, accompanied by smoke, thunder, earthquakes, and fire, would be remembered for generations to come. And examples is in Judges 5:5, Psalm 68, 7 and 8. Oh, it shut it off. And Hebrews 12:18 through 21. So there's that. And once we get into chapter 20, which is the 10 Commandments, we will read the 10 Commandments. Footnote. Puts the camera on. Where's my camera? There we are. I wish. Why won't it give me a bigger picture? I like my other phone because you could do square, circle, big circle, little circle. This one just gives you a little teeny tiny circle. 3 years ago we were in the Buffalo Bills Stadium. Nice. All right, so we're going to get into letting our friend read chapter 19 and reading more of how God reveals himself. What's up?
I want to see the Buffalo Bills Stadium.
We'll do that after. Right now, do what you're supposed to be doing. Real life, people, real life. He's doing dishes while I'm doing my show. I'm trying to keep on track with all of everything. And spending time with God, as well as setting goals, man. Setting goals. So this is 19:1, exactly 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt. Hebrew, in the 3rd month after the Israelite left Egypt, on the very day, 2 lunar months to the day after leaving Egypt, compared to Numbers 3, verse 3. They arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. All right, let our friends read and jam to the music.
Exodus chapter 19. The Lord reveals himself at Sinai. Exactly 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt, they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. After breaking camp at Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and set up camp there at the base of Mount Sinai. Then Moses climbed the mountain to appear before God. The Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "Give these instructions to the family of Jacob. Announce it to the descendants of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. You know how I carried you on eagle's wings."
I just want to stop real quick. That isn't it beautiful that I should have let it finish the verse, the sentence, but that we don't have to climb mountains to be close to God anymore, that we don't have to look to one person, even though, yes, there's the there's the Catholics who do the communion and confessions and stuff, but we don't need all of that to be close to God. God sent Jesus just so we can have a one-on-one relationship with him ourselves. And like I said, the whole community, knowing that our community is there for us as well, it just makes it more stronger. And where two or more are gathered, that's where I am. I love it, and I absolutely love it. So they're at the bottom of the mountain waiting for Moses, who had climbed the mountain so he can be with God and he can be the intercessor for the people, right? Oh,
And brought you to myself. Now, if
and
you will obey me
Ingles
and keep my
wings.
covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the peoples on earth. For all the earth belongs to me, and you will be my kingdom of priests, my holy nation. This is the message
If you keep
must
the covenant and you
give the
listen.
people of Israel. So Moses returned from the mountain and called together the elders of the people and told them everything the Lord had commanded him. And all the people responded together. We will do everything the Lord has commanded. So Moses brought the people's answer back to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will come to you in a thick cloud, Moses, so the people
Another
themselves can
cloud,
hear me when I
right?
speak with
Another
you.
cloud.
Then they will always trust me. Moses told the Lord what the people had said, and the Lord told Moses, Go down and prepare the people for my arrival. Consecrate them today and tomorrow, and have them wash their clothing. Be sure they are ready on the third day, for on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai
3 days
as all
again,
the people
remember.
watch.
3 days.
Mark off a boundary all around the mountain. Warn the people. Be careful. Do not go up on the mountain or even touch its boundaries. Anyone who touches the mountain will certainly be put to death. No hand may touch the person or animal that crosses the boundary. Instead, stone them or shoot them with arrows. They must be put to death. However, when the ram's horn sounds a long blast, then the people may go up on the mountain.
So how are the animals supposed to know that there's a boundary, right? No hand may touch the person or animal that crosses the boundary, because if you touch them, it's like, you're crossing it as well. So instead, stone them. Stone them. Imagine being stoned to death. Ouch. Or shoot them with arrows. I'd rather be shot with arrows than stoned to death. They must be put to death. However, when the ram's horn sounds, I love it. So 3 days, ram's horn. I don't know why my tongue is not working. A long blast, then the people may go up to the mountain, or up the mountain, up to the mountain. May go up on the mountain or up to the mountain.
So Moses went down to the people. He consecrated them for worship. They washed their clothes. He told them,
Get ready for the third day, and until then, abstain from having sexual intercourse.
On the morning of the third day, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a dense cloud came down on the mountain. There was a long, loud blast from a ram's horn, and all the people trembled. Moses led them out from the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. All of Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord had descended on it in the form of fire. The smoke billowed into the sky like smoke from a brick kiln, and the whole mountain shook violently. As the blast of the ram's horn grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God thundered his reply. The Lord came down on the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses climbed the mountain. Then the Lord told Moses, Go back down and warn the people not to break through the boundaries to see the Lord, or they will die. Even the priests who regularly come near to the Lord must purify themselves so that the Lord does not break out and destroy them.
But Lord,
Moses protested.
the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai. You already warned us. You told me, mark off a boundary all around the mountain to set it apart as holy.
But the Lord said, Go down and bring Aaron back up with you. In the meantime, do not let the priests or the people break through to approach the Lord, or he will break out and destroy them. So Moses went down to the people and told them what the Lord had said.
I want to continue on to chapter 20 just because it's short and we've only been together for 10 minutes. So
Exodus chapter 20. 10 commandments for the covenant community. Then God gave the people all these instructions.
All these words.
I'm the Lord your God, who rescued you from the land of Egypt, the place of your slavery. You must not have any other God but me. You must not make for yourself an idol of any kind or an image of anything in the heavens or on the earth or in the sea. You must not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God who will not tolerate your affection for any other gods. I lay the sins of the parents upon their children. The entire family is affected. Even children in the third and fourth generations of those who reject me. But I lavish unfailing love for 1,000 generations on those who love me and obey my commands. You must not misuse the name of the Lord your God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you misuse his name. Remember to observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath day of rest, dedicated to the Lord your God. On that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigners living among you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and everything in them. But on the seventh day he rested. That is why the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart as holy. Honor your father and mother. Then you will live a long, full life in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You must not murder. You must not commit adultery.
8,
You must not steal.
9,
You must not testify falsely against your neighbor. You must not cover your neighbor's house. You must not cover your neighbor's wife, male or female servant, ox or donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor.
And I think that's what we do a lot these days, right? I wish I had this. I wish I had that. I want this. I want that. And the husband's cheating on going to, different people, right? So there's a lot of this going on.
When the people heard the thunder and the loud blast of the ram's horn, and when they saw the flashes of lightning and the smoke billowing from the mountain, they stood at a distance, trembling with fear. They said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen, but don't let God speak directly to us, or we will die."
Why do
Don't
you
be
think
afraid.
that?
Moses answered them,
For God
Why do you think that? Right? Why do you think that? People didn't want to speak to God directly because they were scared they were going to die. That is, why do you
has
think
come in
that?
this way to test you, and so that your fear of him will keep you from sinning.
As the people stood in the distance, Moses approached the dark cloud where God was. Proper use of altars. And the Lord said to Moses, "Say this to the people of Israel. You saw for yourselves that I spoke to you from heaven. Remember, you must not make any idols of silver or gold to rival me. Build for me an altar made of earth and offer your sacrifices to me, your burnt offerings and peace offerings, your sheep and goats, and your cattle. Build my altar wherever I cause my name to be remembered, and I will come to you and bless you. If you use stones to build my altar, use only natural, uncut stones. Do not shape the stones with a tool, for that will make the altar unfit for holy use. And do not approach my altar by going up steps. If you do, someone might look up under your clothing and see your nakedness."
So there were no underwears, right? So somebody might look up under and see your nakedness because it was a sin, right? Adam and Eve, the whole nakedness. And the stones, don't shape them because then it's unnatural. Anything that is unnatural is unholy. That's what I get from that verse. Build an altar made of earth. So God made us the earth. He gave us the earth, and he wanted them to build an altar and sacrifice sheep, goats, and cattle. And I want to know what the significance is with the sheep. We know that it's the lamb sheep, But what is the goats and cattle? Is it because goats can climb up mountains and cattle give milk, so it's milk and honey? I'm trying to figure it out. So yay, we got through 3 chapters, but 2 on this one, 19 and 20. And then we're going to read might as well do it now. Are the 10 Commandments still relevant today? Spoken aloud by God to spoken aloud by God to all Israel, then committed to stone tablets written by God himself. The 10 Commandments lay at the heart of God's covenant with Israel. But are they relevant to us today? If they are, why don't we keep all the other Jewish laws too? Well, the New Testament teaches that law keeping isn't a requirement for While the New Testament teaches that law-keeping isn't a requirement for Gentile Christians, example in Galatians 5:1-6, there seems to be something different about the 10 Commandments. Not least their reaffirmation in some way or other by Jesus. In fact, Exodus itself distinguished between the 10 Commandments and the rest of the law. We read that Moses went down to the people and repeated all the instructions and regulations the Lord had given him in Exodus 24:3. Instructions referring to the 10 Commandments and regulations referring to the Book of the Covenant when Exodus 24:7, which applied those commandments to various aspects of life. The Book of the Covenant is summarized in Exodus 20, verses 22 and chapter 23, verse 19, and further unpacked in the rest of Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. The same distinction is found in Deuteronomy, where Moses, recalling the 10 Commandments, said, "The Lord spoke these words to all of you." This was all he said at that time in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 22. Although a further unpacking then follows, it begins with, "These are the commands, decrees, and regulations that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you. You must obey them in the land you are about to enter and occupy," in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Suggesting that while the 10 Commandments are God's words for everyone, I don't know what that is. The further's law were specific to Israel for life in the promised land. So suggested in Deuteronomy 6:1, suggesting that while the 10 Commandments are God's words for everyone, the further laws were specific to Israel for the life in the promised land. The 10 Commandments are therefore God's words, not just for Israel, but for everyone. His wise boundaries for fulfilling, living, exposing that which dehumanizes and destroys, and freeing people to enjoy life as he created it to be. So I like that. The 10 Commandments are therefore God's words, not just for Israel, but for everyone. His wise boundaries to fulfill, living, exposing that which dehumanizes and destroys, and freeing people to enjoy life as he created it to be. So thank you for spending time with us to learn the 10 Commandments. That was awesome. And I believe I did count them right. I do not have them numbered here, and they're not numbered in the Bible, but I believe we got the 10, right? So we got not covet your neighbor, do not testify or lie, do not steal, do not commit adultery, do not murder, honor your father and mother, reserve the Sabbath, do not misuse the Lord's name in vain, do not make any other idols or any other gods. Right, so do not have any other gods. Do not make for yourself any idols. Misuse the Lord's name in vain. Observe the Sabbath. Honor your father and mother. Must not murder, commit adultery, not steal, testify falsely, which is lying, right? Or covet your neighbor. And those are the 10 commandments. All right, I love you guys. God loves you. We'll see you back here for chapter 21. We only have 20 more chapters to get through Exodus, and we're almost in Leviticus. So there's 40 chapters in Exodus, and then we're going to get into Leviticus. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you back here shortly for a next chapter, next video. We're getting these done, and I love you. God loves you, and we'll see you back here shortly. Bye.